Good morning.
Good morning, starlight, starbeam, star bright, starlight. Happy Tuesday.
Every morning we're going to be sitting here. It's like coffee talk again.
Happy Tuesday. Wow. So yesterday, good morning. I follow a bunch of different people. I listen to a bunch of different people for my morning inspiration. You guys know we are talking about this routine of like dumping out your dreams, not getting on social media, and just like filling your brain up with really good things in the
Unless
morning.
you're getting on social media right here with us.
And this is filling up your brain actually with really good stuff. So I was listening yesterday. So two things. Yesterday, I follow somebody named Allie Brown, who is an entrepreneurial coach for people, and she posted this about this Fyre documentary. So I was like, Fyre documentary? What the heck is that? And I talked to you, and you were like, oh yeah, all about that social media. You guys know about this? The FyreFestival? I don't know. I'm late to the party. I'm late to the party. I never heard of it. I have no idea. I don't follow a lot of influencers, like a lot of celebrities, unless they have like a message or something that
there was no message in Fyre.
So this was crazy about this guy that basically it was all show no go. I mean, he tried his butt off, right? But what was your takeaway from that documentary? You should see it. It's really good.
There was part of me that wanted to kind of like, oh yeah, he is trying. We did have that conversation. He looked like he's trying, but I think ultimately after unpacking it all, he really was only trying because if it failed, he'd be like out a bunch of money. It wasn't like he was passionate about this festival or any messaging or anything like that. It was really
so basically he took a lot of money.
It was a big Ponzi scheme.
It was, and he's like wanted to be one of those guys in the world, right? That we see on social media. He wanted to live in that lifestyle. And so he basically, what he did was he didn't have really anything, but he found a way with other people's money to create the illusion that he had a lifestyle that he didn't have. And this is really near and dear to our hearts because we just don't support that at all. We really believe in creating a vision for our lives and creating a vision, but actually being real, authentic with where we really are, where you really are, because we said this in our seminar on Saturday. If you're a GPS and we all think that we're going on a road trip to California and we think that we're starting in Texas, we're not going to get where we're going if we're really in Florida. And so, but it just spoke volumes to this. You can sell anything in the world. Anybody can sell anything in the world if they have enough confidence and give you the illusion that you're going to have that life too. Right?
Well, that's exactly what it was. It was all confidence.
It was all confidence. It was state going awry.
Yeah, it was
really
bizarre.
Bad, right?
And the fact that the people who were sort of roped in, how far they were going, like they would go, like they were looking back, like retrospectively going, oh my gosh, I can't believe that I bought into this. And it's easy to look back.
He seemed so confident. He seemed so...
And he believed in it. And there was some real stuff that was going on with it. That's the other thing. He had a company designing software to essentially be like I think they quoted it as like the Uber of booking artists. So if you wanted to have some big artist come to your party, you could book them through this app. And they had all these like developers working on it. And basically he didn't really pay many people, and at the end he paid nobody.
And that's another lesson too. Like you don't give services unless you receive. I even have people in my practice that'll say like, oh yeah, just come. I'm like, no, well, here's your link, let's take care of your services, and then we'll start the process. But I mean, neither here nor there. Like the main aspect of it though was that this guy created such an illusion. And what he sold was this music festival with celebrities, but basically people got so sucked into the celebrity.
Well, it was also a perfect example of marketing. The way they filmed it and like the way they were presenting it was not at all close to what it was going to be, or even certainly what it ended up being.
Well, the thing is that there was no details. Like it was like, oh, we don't know anything about anything, but we're going to pay. And the event was like hundreds of thousands of dollars some people paid for these like luxury tents, and
you're going to be on a yacht or
on a yacht or a villa, and like you sold this like whole luxury lifestyle, but when you showed up it was like a pop-up disaster tent with like a wet mattress in it. I mean, it was
rained the night before.
Wild. But it's just an example of that we want so desperately to be associated or acquainted to this certain lifestyle that we, will get swindled, right? We'll just be blind and get sucked right into the thing that we think we want to have. And
well, what made it worse at the end, after he got arrested, after all that, he couldn't use his name, so he got that other guy, Frank Tribble or whatever, and then they started selling VIP tickets to stuff you could not get tickets to. So they were out there, and they were, here's the one thing I will say, they were hammering the phones themselves. They were calling themselves, basically using the list that they had from the FyreFestival, knowing these are all rich kids who had all this money, who were buying into this celebrity and all of that. So they'd be like, hey, what's going on? We've got this, we're part of this NYC VIP thing. We've got these courtside tickets, and you could have dinner with LeBron, and it's only going to be $10,000. And they sold them. They sold like $100,000 worth, like in the first week.
Well, and there's no shame in the game of what people value, right? There's a whole group of people that value that kind of like celebrity experience, and but you got to deliver. But really, at the end of the day, when you strip all that away, what are people really looking for? Why do they sign up for something, even when it's a scam and it's kind of obvious it's a scam? Why? Because there's a deep desire within us to feel validated, worthy, like we belong, like we're part of something.
And they'd like to belong to something that's like bigger than them.
Like we belong, like we're part of it, like we're in on it, right? And so the crazy thing is you don't need to go on a yacht with a bunch of celebrities to have that experience, because I have to tell you, having worked with celebrities for most of my career, when I was living in Los Angeles, had an office in Beverly Hills, I had a high celebrity clientele. Some of the most insecure people on the planet have all those things, and they're still trying to get with the right people at the right time in the right position and be seen and validated.
That's what they're using.
That's the name of the game.
Make up for the fact that they're feeling so.
So it's really crazy. Like, we have to remember within us that everything that we seek to feel validated, understood, appreciated, and pedestaled, comes from within. Our decision to put ourselves there. It's us who puts ourselves there. And today's Transformation Tuesday. So we're going to be talking a little bit, it's kind of switching gears, but still in the same vein. I was listening to a great podcast this morning. I like to fill my brain in the morning with things like how people are accomplishing their goals, and they're building their companies or their whatever it is. And How I Built This on NPR is a really good one. Rachel Hollis is a good podcast. And she had on the founder of It Cosmetics. And this is a billion with a B, for those of you who know sign language, company. And she only started about 10 years ago. For the first 3 years, she made absolutely no money at all, right? It wasn't successful. She got told no constantly. She'd go into Sephora and all these different places, and they'd be like, no, nobody wants your stuff, But she kept at it. She kept pursuing it because she knew within her, she had something that was going to change the world. She had a product that she knew was going to change everybody's, wow, once they found her and they found it was going to transform lives. And so, but we're sold this lie. Well, if it's not happening right away, it's not going to happen for you. If everybody's not posting on social media and like you're selling a million things, like nobody cares. But that's not how success works. What you guys are watching today with us in the morning and building from here, like 3 years from now, you and I we're all going to laugh about it. We're going to go, oh my God, you remember when you were doing your morning, because we know we have our vision of where we're going as a couple, but we're not delusional, but thinking there's like an overnight success. So let me just finish my main point, and then you can tell your story. We think, oh, I should be successful by now. She said, thank God that I had all the no's, because now I sharpen my axe, right? My tools. And I think the same is true for us. We have been on a journey. Most of the people that I work with have been toxicity in their past, trauma in their past, can't seem to get a break, right? And we can complain a lot and say, wow, and why am I going through all this stuff all the time? Like, I get a little progress in my life and then something knocks me back, and I get more progress and something knocks me back. And how do I finally just arrive? How do I just get there? Well, here's the truth. I know we know this in theory. Everything you're going through is divine design to get you to the end, to exactly what you need. But it's really true. If you can have that perspective that everything I'm experiencing is a necessary stop on my path to learn something I need to learn, master a skill I need to master, or get some insight that I didn't have before. If you can just trust in that process, I can guarantee you that at the end of that, you will look back and go, thank God it didn't happen quicker. I wouldn't have been ready. Thank goodness I had that experience. Even some of the people that have had really traumatic experiences, they lost people along the way. They've lost their own things along the way. I remember in 2008 when I lost all that stuff that I had amassed, you know, looking back on it, it was good that it happened, because that's when I asked myself the question, who am I without my stuff? Who am I really, right? If I'm not in Beverly Hills in an office and having a celebrity come sit with me, who am I? It really forced me to say, well, am I still worthy? Am I still me without the title or the money or the things? And I'm more me now than I ever have been in my life, but that took losing things to know who I really am and what I really am made of. You know, Jim Rohn has that great quote. He said, don't become a millionaire for the $1 million, become a millionaire for who you become in the process. And that's why we keep trucking along, because of who we're becoming. And now, Douglas.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Preach.
No.
I don't know.
No, I'm done. That was my morning sermon for you from Reverend Heidi. We'll be back tomorrow morning to kick things up. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead for you. Yeah, it's good, because you have a great story that you tell that I think is another, if you want to tell that story.
Yeah, I may or may not. I mean, one of the things that what you touched on is how we are so conditioned to the instant results, the transformation, like we're not realizing the whole thing and I have a better story of that. But here's what's interesting. I just want to touch back a little bit to the Fyre documentary and the timeline. There's ways to speed things up, like ecologically and ethically, and then not. And one of the things that they talked about were some of the strategies that they employed with these influencers on how they grew their followings. And basically they went out and they would, there's a strategy to do this, which is basically you create tons of fake accounts. Then with those fake accounts, you then hashtag all of the hashtags you want to create a buzz over. You call you, and basically it's also very expensive because you have to do this with Instagram on phones. So these influencers, some of them, and not all of them, but there are strategies that they employ to prime the pump to get there. Now, of course, there has to be some content and there has to be something of value. But this speeding up of the process there's validity to it, and there are ways to do it ethically. But this was a great example of how all of these energies kind of combined to be an ultimate disaster because they didn't have the foundation in order to create what they were trying to create. Exactly. They don't take the time to build the foundation because they want an overnight success. And everybody who has such success is like, it's because it didn't happen overnight. Right, because they have the muscle to be able to do it. Success. I would love for our success to grow organically, right? I mean, we're not people that are ever going to like pay for followers or like, I mean, that's not a strategy that we would ever do. But we do things to speed it up. And the things to do to speed it up are things maybe you don't want to do that are a little uncomfortable, like getting up every day and coming up with some, and making and just kind of connecting and wanting to add more value than you could ever expect, so that you then are wanting to come back so we can serve you even more. And that's our goal, is to add as much value as possible. But the story I was going to share, other than, may remind me on the blessings of a teacup, is the old story of the cocoon and the butterfly. And there was this woman very caring, loving woman who saw this cocoon and then saw the butterfly trying to get out. And was like, oh my gosh, this poor thing, it's struggling. It's having all this pain. And she was getting moved. She's like, oh, I got to help. Like, I have to go help this poor butterfly get out. So she went and grabbed a razor and ever so gently and carefully just cut the cocoon and just and then was like, oh, got it. ooh, finally. And then the butterfly fell out of the cocoon and landed on the ground and was never able to get its wings, because the struggle of getting out of the cocoon, the work that it takes to get out of the cocoon, is the very work that it takes to shed all the metamorphic goo out of the wings so that they can open up. What happened was, by speeding that process up, it ruined this butterfly's opportunity to go through the work necessary in order to become the incredible butterfly. And there's there's a wonderful lesson in that, is that whenever you're feeling like you're striving or you're not getting necessarily the results as quickly as you want them, that if you don't continue pushing on, if you allow yourself to just give up and or look for the easy way out, and what'll happen is you won't give yourself the gift of what's necessary so that you can be, basically that's the whole adage with Heidi shared earlier about Jim Rohn's comment about become a millionaire, not for the $1 million, but who you become to create it. Because by doing so, if you lose it, you can earn it back.
That's right. You can earn it back. It's the character. I didn't marry, when I married you, people always say, oh, what attracted you? It wasn't because you had things, right? Or stuff, it's because you had the character traits that I knew if anything would happen, like you're the guy that will crawl through cut glass, that will walk through fire. Your values line up. And if and some millionaires do the work and their values are still skewed. So underneath even all that,
right. It's not about the money. It's just a byproduct.
The money is a byproduct, but it's a value system of what you value. And we, look, things are nice. Stuff is cool, right? That's all great. But for me, it's creating a legacy. It's my purpose for putting my work out into the world isn't so that I earn money. That's a byproduct of it. My true desire is because if I don't put out into the world, if I don't teach, like Yoda said, do you think Yoda teaches because they have students? Yoda teaches because Yoda teaches, So that's just in my DNA. I don't feel like myself if I'm not teaching. I don't feel like myself if I'm not lecturing or giving a seminar or a workshop. And it helps me fully be myself. And I think if you can find work like that in the world that you would do because your soul needs to express itself that way, that's your work in the world. Maybe you have a job that enables you to live your passion, but when your passion and your purpose collide, that's why we're so passionate about certifying life coaches and giving people speaking skills and helping people deliver their message to the world. Because when you live that dream, it's not just money's a byproduct. That's really great. But what do you get as a result? Your legacy, right? Your ideas transmuted into the world and shared and touching the lives of other people. Oprah, I listened to an interview with Oprah and Bradley Cooper, and he was sitting with her and he said, wow, I just want to tell you that growing up, and this is my story, maybe your story too, I had such trauma and toxicity in my household that Oprah was my therapist, right? That show was what saved my life. And he expressed the same sentiment to her, that basically he learned that he could love himself. He learned what was possible. He learned to dream big. And she said, well, thank you for sharing that with me, because I was sitting with Maya Angelou and we were talking about writing books and getting your message out into the world. And Maya Angelou said, your legacy isn't in the book or the big thing. It's in the person you talk to at the grocery store. You never know who you're going to touch. And so again, are we concerned about numbers of people who are coming or what? No, it's because who knows, like if one effect? Person hears something and says, oh, okay, there's a spark in me that I needed this morning, or yes, I'm going to go for that. Or what if I became a life coach? Or what if I sharpened my speaking skills? Or what if I decided to take my message out into the world? How could my life change? And that to us, what we value, right? And those are the kind of people that we want to attract to come alongside and pour into to help speed up the process. But our values are all in alignment, right? Why are we doing what we're doing? And the ultimate transformation is to turn your pain into purpose. That is why we're here. Every experience, all the butterfly, all the shedding, all the, why again? Poor me. Why is this happening? Because you're going to be able to help somebody else on that path. right?
And what's so interesting and important now is, and it's evident with all the social media and everyone sort of documenting. It's like we've got what was that show with Jim Carrey and the movie where he was
Truman Show.
Truman Show. It's like we've got this real life Truman Show in some respects, but we're volunteering the information. And what's so interesting about this is that here we are creating this virtual world, like it's almost like this Second Life experience going on, which then gives us incredible responsibility to what it is that we're sharing and how are we sharing it, and what is the message that we're wanting to to share. Now,
yes, and are we doing what people think people want to hear, or what's cool,
right? And
or
are we
is it
doing
our authentic?
And there's always going to be a part of everyone who's doing it for some attention, right? It's one of our, it's a need. Like we want to have that significance. We want to know that people are watching and like we're important, that something we're doing means something. And that's all normal and valid. And looking at the bigger picture, how are we telling that story and how are we sharing this message that is actually helping someone rather than creating more challenges? And that's a big responsibility that we all have. Like everyone is documenting stuff. And are you know, it's interesting. We were talking the other day, because Heidi was sharing, you had a client that had done some research
On me, yeah.
Because this internet thing now, everything is out there.
He told me what videos he watched. He told me that about my daughter. He told me about our dogs.
So, and this is all normal, but here's the thing. All companies now are going out, and part of the onboarding process is going through your social media, going through all these experiences. So imagine what the universe is doing as we're adding information, as we're creating all of this content. Is it serving? Is it adding value? Is it creating deeper connections? Or is it creating an interesting dynamic with the haves, the have-nots, by not being honest? They also showed, they talked about on Fyre about how there's a company now in Russia, or not now, a couple years ago, that for like $300,000, well, I think it was some crazy amount of money.
Yeah, it's like $250 or something.
You could rent a jet. It never takes off, but you rent a jet and they have a photo shoot for you in the jet, and they make it look like you're in it, that this is the lifestyle. You can look out the window
like you're taking
off. Yeah, they were like setting it up to make it look that way. And it's just such an interesting quandary that we're all in, that people are actually going so much out of their way to pretend they have a lifestyle, which on some level, look, we do vision boards and we do stuff like that. That's all great. And we get it.
But that's very different from my heart from renting a plane and pretending it's mine.
If you're putting it out there, and that's the thing, the vision boards are for you, right?
That's right. I have them in my office too, believe me.
Right. But to do that, to pose, to put it out there, to then basically trick people into thinking that you, now look, we also understand.
Or that's hard, that's not hard work. But you know, it's over. It is easy. Just do this, just do that. Just take this pill, just do this, just do that. And that's a lie too. That's not how it works. It's the planting of the seeds. It's the watering. It's the pulling the weeds. It's work. You know?
There is something to this. Like as an example, like you'll see, depending on what your business is, if you're wanting to like build your business. I have a friend of mine who's an attorney, and one day he ended up buying a more expensive car, and he called it his marketing budget. And he's like, because where I am here in Boca and all of that, there's a certain expectation. Now he could afford the expensive German car. It's not about that he didn't go out of his way. He was just like, the people who I'm marketing to are expecting that I live a certain lifestyle. Otherwise, I won't be perceived as good enough. Like, oh, wow, you drive just this, regular car. You must not be that good. So there's an element of that. We totally get that, because you don't want to be,
Go around this way, honey.
Go around that way, sweetheart.
Go around this way.
So we understand why people do it, and there is some strategy to it. But if it's living outside of your means, this is not the best strategy.
So good morning.
Oh, what do you want to say to everybody this morning? It's Tuesday. What do you want to say to everybody?
I love you. I hope you have a nice day at school. And if you listen, I'll give you some ice cream.
You're gonna give us some ice cream?
You're
And
being silly.
yeah, did you get dressed all by yourself this morning?
Oh man, how many stickers did you get?
4.
4 stickers.
4 stickers. What else did you do by
Amazing.
yourself?
I didn't get the stickers yet.
Oh my gosh,
You
you
get-
need to go put the stickers on the
They're
sticker thing.
IOUs.
Okay, 4 stickers. What did you do? What'd you do by
I
yourself?
was doing
They're giving you love.
They're
That's
saying-
just how they say I love
Oh.
you. They give you
Oh,
little
someone said there,
hearts.
Amanda, you didn't get the stickers.
They give you little hearts and love, and those are your friends. And Sally says, "Oh, she's adorable," and Iris says, "Aw."
Is the series every morning at 6?
6:30.
6:30.
Let's look for
It
comments.
says I'm adorable.
She
Yeah.
said you're adorable. Yeah.
Nothing.
So-
Thomas says good morning.
I
Jen
love
says
you.
good morning.
Good morning. I love you. I hope you have a nice day.
And thanks for all the hearts.
And thank you for the all hearts.
Those are better than stickers.
Okay. Well,
And here's the squishy.
oh, unicorns. Super
It's a sea
cute.
unicorn.
Unicorn seesaws.
Oh, hello.
Okay, well, tell everyone have a great
I got the
day.
horses in the bite.
What?
I got the horses in the bite.
You got the horses in the bike? Goose. All right.
All
We
right.
love you
I
guys.
hope you have a nice day. I love you.
All right, we love you for who you are and who you aren't.
Bye.